Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm a Stampin' Up! independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And today I thought I would jump on and show you how to make a wreath card using your Stamparatus. My team actually had been asking me to show them some more things they can do with their Stamparatus. Some of them have them Stamparatus and some of them don't. And so yesterday on our team meeting, I actually did a bit of a demonstration on how to use the Stamparatus. And today I thought I would jump on and actually show you how to make a card. Yesterday on my team meeting, I just showed them how to do this technique, but didn't actually make a card. Hey, Catherine. Oh, good. I'm glad you're here. It means that you can hear and hopefully see me. Just checking to see if I'm okay. I am seeing comments. All right. So yeah. So lots of people have the Stamparatus and don't use it, and it's such a great tool to use for all sorts of things. This is one technique, but I particularly like my Stamparatus for making when I'm making multiple cards of the same thing. I can actually get it all aligned, get all the stamps on the plates because you have two plates and they both have two sides to them, so you can have four stamps going. Um, and it's a really nice way if you stamp and don't get that perfect image because the card stock isn't shifting. You can either re-ink it or just press it down again and use the ink that's on the stamp and get a perfect, I think, perfect image when you use your Stamparatus. Okay, let me switch over to my desktop. Hey, Sarah. Let me switch over. Now, I have been using the Eden's Garden. This is a pre-release from the January to June mini catalog that demonstrators have been able to get their hands on early, and customers will be able to order as of November 2nd. So this is a bit of a sneak peek. I'm using the stamp set and one of the dies and some of the designer series paper. But let me bring in my, oops, this way, Stamparatus. So one of the things with the Stamparatus that you can do is to create a wreath. Now, I have a template in on my grid paper, and I've created this by cutting two different sizes of cardstock. So I cut, in this case, this inside square is a 4x4 square. And so, this is the one I'm using for my card today. This is 3¼ by 3¼ But once you have this grid set up, you can actually use any size of square. And you use this grid to create the wreath. Now I've created it on a piece of the grid paper that's cut perfectly for the Stamparatus. You can, I saw somebody who'd laminated it. I've also created one on the window sheet so that, with a permanent Sharpie so that you can use that. But what you do is get your square set up. So I did the 4-inch first. Actually, sorry, I did the 5-inch first and did it on the diamond shape because the 5-inch is about the maximum that you can fit on a Stamparatus. Draw around it with your marker and then you turn it. So if this is my diamond shape, then turn it so it's square and lined up. I just kind of mark the centers. There's all sorts of videos on YouTube on how to actually create this template. But once you've got it, like I said, you can create it for any size. So I've done the 5-inch and the 4-inch, and now this is actually 3¼ So to make a card that has a wreath on it, I'm going to line this up, and I'm really just eyeballing it to get it in the center. And I'm going to put my magnets on. Don't get your magnets close to one another because they are incredibly strong magnets, and you don't want to get them close. I had ones shatter because they kind of stuck together and I couldn't get them apart. They just shattered. So what you want to do is you want to put your square, this is a 3¼ by 3¼ piece in, line it up around the square, and then get your whatever you want as your image for your wreath. I'm using this little image here to create this wreath. And I'm putting it on a bit of an angle. So get it where you want it and then press it down on your plate. Now I just realized that I've got an extra. I've got a foam sheet in here, which you don't need if you're using the rubber stamps. If you were using a photopolymer stamp, you need that extra cushion in there to stamp on, but I don't need that for this. All right, so let's get this back in place. Just kind of lining it up. Okay, now I'm going to use, so for my card, I've got soft succulent. I've got a piece of this beautiful designer series paper. And then I've got evening evergreen as the mat. So I'm going to do my wreath, I think in evening evergreen. So once you've got it lined up, I'm going to just take and ink up my stamp. If you've got ink pads or ink spots, they work really well with this. So then just take and press down. So I've got my first image. So then what you want to do is you're going to take your piece and you're going to turn it 45 degrees, I guess that is. So you're going to turn it so it's diamond shaped. Put your magnets on again. So very sticky. Ink up your wreath or your stamp and press down. And then you're just going to repeat this. So you go from the diamond shape to the square shape, back to the diamond shape, until you have your wreath stamped all the way around. Yesterday I did it in using pine cones, which were really pretty, but I didn't make a card. Okay, so back to the diamond shape. Like I said, once you've got this, once you've got your template, you can actually just use any size of square cardstock, because it's just a matter of kind of lining it up. I have an idea. I'm not sure it's going to work, but we'll see when we get there, because I was thinking that this would be really pretty if you did it in 2 colors of ink. I may not try it for this, but I did think that that I could adjust it slightly so that I could maybe repeat the wreath using a different color, maybe a different stamp, just to give it some extra, I don't know, extra bushiness to my wreath, if that's such a word. That, I love these stamps. This Eden's Garden is a distinctive stamp, so it's got such detail to it that you you don't get from a regular stamp. Shift that back into the corner. All right. So it really is just all about repeating this until you get, I think this might be my last one. Yep. Now I have my, yeah, I don't think I'm going to try it, but one of these days I will, when I had this stamp out as well, but I think it's just going to be was going to be too big. Okay. So I've got a mat for this. So this was 3 1/4 inch square. This is 3 1/2 inch square. And I'm going to I really need to replace this. It's just about empty. My Stampin' Seal is also empty. It's time to replenish the adhesives. All right, put that on there. Now I'm going to score my card base. So the card base I've cut this is soft succulent, and I've cut it 4 1/4 by 11. So I'm just going to score it at 5 1/2. This morning I was doing a video where I was saying, and now just score. And what did I do? I went and cut it. I know that's happened to me before. Hopefully it's not happened to you, where you use your cutting blade instead of your scoring blade. All right, so then I'm gonna just use my bone folder to burnish this. Always, so once you've scored, fold into the mountain, you get a better fold. And then I'm going to adhere my designer series paper. This is such pretty paper. It's specialty paper and has the gold foil on it. There. Now, if this was small enough, you could actually do it on the diagonal, but of course mine isn't. So I'm going to just put it on here like this, and I'm going to use dimensionals to pop it up. So you can use this technique using your Stamparatus, using whatever stamp you want that would make a great wreath. Like I said, I used pine cones yesterday. This is more obvious because it's, kind of the plant or the leaves. There we go. But you could use, I did actually one many years ago using Easter eggs, which was really pretty. Okay, now I was going to grab, and I meant to, let's grab them. Somewhere I have, of course, I probably will not find them immediately, but I'm looking for the metallic, here they are. The metallic pearls, I think, would be really pretty on this. Okay. So I'm going to stamp a sentiment, and I have got this sentiment that says, "My heart is tied to yours, tug if you need anything." I think that's really cute. All right, and I'm just going to stamp this on this scrap piece. And I'm going to use the, ouch, caught my finger in the ink pad. I'm going to use this die, which is really pretty with the leaves. You know what? I think I'm just going to cut this out first because I have just barely got room. And then I will stamp it afterwards, because I just know that I couldn't possibly line it up and stamp on it. All right, here we go. Can I take your pick tool? Hey, Carol. Welcome. Thank you. All right. This out. Just the little bits out. Oops. Now let's try this again. See if I can stamp. So always do a test run of your stamp on your grid paper. Because if you're like me, it's not quite straight. So I always try, and that's a little better. do a test run and make sure that I get it as straight as I possibly can. Hopefully, yeah, not too bad. It's hard to do. It does definitely works better if you stamp it first and then it cut out. But I was being a little chintzy on my piece of basic white cardstock. I just grabbed a scrap and it wasn't quite wide enough. So I'll put this. So when you've got a long sentiment piece, I always put a dimensional in the middle, just so that the middle doesn't sag. And if it's wide, don't put it straight across like this. Alternate it from kind of top and bottom, and that way it won't wobble. I don't like it when my sentiment wobbles. Okay, so there's that on there. Now I grabbed some of this is the gold shimmer ribbon. It's a 1/4 inch gold shimmer ribbon. So I'm just going to tie a little bow. I want it to be quite small. So I'm just fussing with it. There we go. And I will trim. So I'm going to put that on there. And I have the metallic pearls, which I think are just perfect for this. So we'll put some of these on as well. Just kind of gives that pop. There is little dots of gold. Let's put one more. There's little pops of gold, little dots on the designer series paper. And so we will just use a glue dot to put my ribbon on like that. Okay. Now I think if I was going to do this card again, I would put just a pop of the gold foil behind my designer series paper. I think it just needs a little bit more gold, but I didn't do that. So if you were going to do that, you could your gold foil would be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 to just give it just a pop of gold behind. But I'm kind of okay with the way it turned out. So that's I think a really easy technique to use your Stamparatus to create your wreath. So the trick is to create your template first, and I will post a picture of my template in case anybody wants it. You could download it, but I made that using a 4-inch square and a 5-inch square. And then, like I said, for this one, it was 3 1/4, and you could actually, you're really just, centering it within that. And so once you've got a template, you can use it for any size of square that's on your card. All right, hopefully that'll give you some incentive if you've got a Stamparatus and you haven't used it. Hopefully that'll give you some ideas of how to use it other than just stamping with it, because it really is a great tool. And yeah, I have it always beside me so that I can use it. As I said, I use it a lot for when I'm making more than one card, because you can get all your stamps aligned and ready to go, and it just makes stamping so much easier. Okay, everybody, let's see. It's Monday tomorrow. So I have my free Zoom class on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific. If you'd like to join, we make 1 or 2 cards together, depending on what the card is. If it's a fancy fold, we tend just to make 1 card. But you can feel free to join. You can join my Facebook group called Create with Stamping with Melva. And then you'll find all of the information for the Zoom class on there. or my Facebook page, which I never get it right what my Facebook page is called. My Facebook page is called, I should know this, Come Stamp with Me, Stamping with Melva. And I'll put both of those in this. If you'd like to join, you can get the information on my Zoom class. Tuesday night at 6:30 Pacific, I'll be back with a sketch challenge. And then 6:30 Pacific on Thursday night, I will be live on my group with a mystery challenge. And the mystery clue, first clue, will be posted at about 9 a.m. on Thursday morning. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Happy stamping. Bye.